When you think of animals on the railway, the first animal you might think of is a cat. It's common knowledge that many station cats were seen roaming around the platforms, making sure that the platforms were free of mice. This idea was further immortalised in the character Shimbleshanks the railway cat from Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical Cats. But the animal we're going to talk about today is a dog. This dog was allowed to roam the station platforms, greeting people as it went. You could say it was an early form of a therapy dog. People couldn't walk by without giving this dog a pat on the head. From the mid-1800s to the early 1950s, if you went to Waterloo Station, seeing a dog with a harness and a change box on his back was a common sight. The dogs were allowed to wander among the platforms, wagging their tails as they went. The wealthy, or those who had change in their pockets, put their coins into the coin boxes that were strapped to their backs. These dogs were known as railway collecting dogs and collected money for charity, mostly to the retired railway workers' home or to the local orphanage. The dogs were looked after by the railway staff, and they gave them a loving home and fresh meat from their table. One of the most famous dogs is a line of dogs called London Jack. There were several London Jacks. The first famously went missing after being taken by dog thieves, and he was found in a house in Soho after a boy heard barking and alerted the police. The fifth London Jack not only wore his harness with his collecting tin, but every time he raised £100, he would be rewarded with a silver medal, and if he got £500, he'd be rewarded with a gold one. He raised money for children who were orphaned and whose parents worked on the railway. Another dog that was recognised for his achievements was an Airedale Terrier called Laddie. He started working at Waterloo in 1949 and was retired in 1956. He raised money for the Southern Railway retirement home, and it seemed only fitting that he retired there after raising over £5,000, which is £87,000 in today's money. During his work, Laddie was given the title of Sergeant in the Tail Waggers Club. In recognition of the charity work when he retired, Laddie was promoted to Honorary Centurion, which is the highest rank the club could bestow. Other dogs were not so honest. Before collecting tins were placed on the dogs' backs, the dogs were taught to carry money in their mouths and give that money to the station masters. However, one dog called Brighton Bill very cleverly realised he could do more with this money and started to take the money to the local bakery in order to buy biscuits. Some dogs, such as a dog called Station Jim, were taught to do tricks in order to make the passengers part with their money. Jim was a sickly dog, but still raised a respectable £40 for the Western Railway orphans. Sadly, the lives of these dogs were short, and the railway wanted them to be recognised for their efforts, so they commissioned for some dogs to be stuffed. The original and fifth London Jack, Laddie and Station Jim, were among the lucky ones chosen. They were put into glass cases with coin slots to allow them to continue their work even after death, and they were also given plaques to commemorate how much they have raised for their charitable causes. Today, the Bluebell Railway and the National Railway Museum host two of these dogs. The National Railway Museum looks after Laddie, while the Bluebell Railway has one of the London Jacks. Station Jim resides at his original home of Slough Railway Station, and a Twitter feed is still live to this day giving spoof updates. The other dogs now reside in private collections after tradition began to decline and the use of stuffed dogs were no longer required. Laddie continued his work until 1990, when he was officially retired and has made his lovable way into the national collection. If you walk towards the royal coaches, you can still see him in his original glass case. When I was young, I used to love giving money to Laddie. Today, Laddie's collecting days are done. But as any dog does, he still stands on the station platform looking over the engines. And when I go to the museum, I still love saying hi to the cheeky dog in the glass case.